Now we're going to get down to the nitty-gritty of what Indians are all about.
I still say we Indian people are believers in the truth. This is the way of life that was given to your people. You're born an Indian, you're going to die an Indian. Indianness is a good life. You're facing an Indian this afternoon.
And good Saturday afternoon out there, everyone. Welcome to your number one source for Native American television news, Native News Today. I'm your host, Jason Salzman, and let's get right into our material for this week. The big news at Mvskoke Creek Nation: a citizen-led petition for impeachment of Principal Chief James Floyd has been filed, and they are looking now to get signatures. We want to bring you up to speed on the entire issue to where we're at now, along with an interview for some clarification. On September 29, 2016, layoffs were conducted in the Mvskoke Creek Nation Division of Health as part of restructuring efforts led by the Office of Principal Chief James Floyd. Over 100 health employees were let go. The Mvskoke Creek Nation National Council issued a statement on the layoffs on October 4th supporting the restructuring process. A petition to convene a court of impeachment for Chief Floyd was filed on October 7th by Mvskoke Creek Nation citizen Brenda Golden, a former MCN employee who is also currently the legal counsel representing Barney Ingram in his lawsuit against the executive branch and MCN housing in Mvskoke Creek Nation District Court. According to the petition, which is available on MvskokeMedia.com, 3,431 signatures are needed by December 6 to validate the petition. The petition lists the reasons for the impeachment as treason, incompetence, and abuse of power. A citizen-led meeting regarding these layoffs at Mvskoke Creek Nation Division of Health was held October 8th at the Mound Building in Okmulgee. A number of documents were provided at the meeting, including a letter dated January 30th, 2015 from former MCN Controller James Pratt to then Principal Chief George Tiger and Assistant Controller Patricia Killian. In the letter, Pratt addresses areas of concern with Mvskoke Creek Nation finances. As of press time, Mvskoke Media has been unable to verify the authenticity of the letter and will be providing coverage on the issue once information regarding the letter is received from involved parties. And now happy to have in the studio with us the former district court judge for 25 years here at the Mvskoke Creek Nation, the Honorable Patrick Moore. Thanks for being with us today, sir.
You're welcome.
So we're here today to talk with you about the impeachment process at Mvskoke Creek Nation. Obviously wanted to bring you in because you, in fact, were district court judge, the only time an impeachment process reached that level to where it does go to the court system. So as we said, many impeachment processes over time at the Mvskoke Creek Nation, no one ever removed as a result. But can you talk to us a little bit about the process itself?
Okay, the process is once a petition has a sufficient amount of signatures and is turned in within the time frame that's specified in the statutes, then the National Council and the Election Board, along with the district judge, will get together and have a meeting whereby they verify each and every signature and address and citizenship of persons who have signed the petition. If they get past that particular meeting, then the National Council, who's present for the count, will declare they're going to have an impeachment proceeding. At that time, the National Council will appoint 7 members of the National Council who are selected by lot to be on the impeachment committee initially. That impeachment committee will then hire, with the authority of the council, an impeachment prosecutor, which would be some lawyer. They will then go to work on what's in the petition to determine if, in fact, it meets muster with what's in the law. The National Council has specified exactly what you must be charged with in order for the petition to be valid. And there's a great list of those things. Normally, as I recall, treason is one of the main things, and then of course any crimes and felonies, and then what they call high misdemeanors. And those are listed in the statute books as possible things that a person could be impeached upon. When they get through that hurdle, if they decide that they need to go before the full National Council for an impeachment trial, the judge that's in charge of it is going to be either the Chief Justice or one of the Supreme Court justices, depending upon who's being impeached. Now, they can impeach any person who's subject to appointment and confirmation by the National Council. But a person that is not elected is probably going to have a vice judge of the Supreme Court preside. And of course, the trial is done before the National Council. In the case of the elected officials, the principal chief, second chief, they have to be convicted by a 3/4 majority of the National Council. It doesn't say about other people that work for the Creek Nation. Well, Supreme Court justices are included in that. It says they can be impeached with a simple majority.
What happens when it does reach the final level? Say someone was removed and you get to that point. Then where does the nation go about having a successor?
Well, in the first place, since you're dealing at this stage of the game with a principal chief, if the principal chief is impeached, he's removed from office immediately, and the second chief is sworn in at that meeting. If there's not a second chief, and there's some other time frame problems with the Constitution on 6 months before an election, etc., but they have to have an election, and for an interim period, the Speaker of the House of Representatives would be the administrative head, but without the authority to spend money or what have you. He just is going to be the administrative head during a 30 or 60-day period within which they would have a new election.
So the trial process is another thing we'd like to talk about and explain, because now we've gotten past the signatures needed. They've been validated. You've gone through a process of vetting the accusations, even looking at the petition. Now we're at a point where it goes to a trial, as you said.
Well, actually, after the petition is verified, there's a little more to it than starting a trial immediately. The statutes require a special prosecutor to investigate, and then they have to specify each and every charge in accordance with what's in the book, the law. When they get past that point, then they can have a trial. And of course, both sides have the right to be at a trial.
So the trial process, when it does
It's just like a grand jury in the state of Oklahoma. They may issue an indictment, but then it's up to a district attorney to file those charges in court, and then they have a trial after everybody has their discovery.
And in this case, the National Council is the jury.
They're only the jury, that's correct. Now you got a Supreme Court justice that's a judge. Both sides will have lawyers. National Council will have appointed a special prosecutor in this case. Whoever's being impeached has a right to hire a lawyer.
You imagine this would take place in the district courtroom, or?
I'd admit it'd be in that chambers of the mound. That'd be my guess. That's where we always held big cases.
Does the district court have any involvement when it gets to that?
Once it gets to the point of they've done the signatures and they've said that they've got enough signatures, both the council has to vote on that, and they say they've got enough signatures, then is when the National Council will pick 7 people by lot to be on an impeachment committee, and they start their work. At that time, it's out of the district court's business. The next thing is they have to vote on whether they think the items of impeachment are legitimate or not. And if that's done, then it goes to the impeachment.
Well, we'll see if we get to all those steps.
That,
All right. Well, thank you for being with us today. We appreciate it, and all the clarification of the process.
hard to clarify something that really has never happened before, you see.
Right. Yes. Well, we'll just have to, we're going to cover it here, and we'll go step by step with the process. Thanks for dropping in with us today.
Thank you. Good luck.
And there is the interview with Judge Patrick Moore, as well as the catch-up of the impeachment issue to this date. Now, we are still working on all of this and are still developing all kinds of leads to this story on MvskokeMedia.com. Stay with us right there and on all of our outlets for the rest of that as it develops. Also, we continue this week our series with cabinet members. Our newest is the newest Lighthorse Chief of Police, Chief Robert Hawkins. He came in studio to visit with us last week, and we're so glad to be able to share it with you now. And we continue our series profiling members of Principal Chief James Floyd's cabinet. Up next, Lighthorse Chief of Police, Mr. Robert Hawkins. First off, sir, just thank you for being with us here today on Native News Today.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure being here, and I appreciate you asking me to be here today.
Now, talk a little bit first about just your experience and what's kind of led you to today being Chief of Police at Lighthorse Police Department here at Creek Nation.
Well, I began my law enforcement career almost 20 years ago in a small town in western Oklahoma. I remained at that agency for 11 years and was Chief of Police there for just over 6 of it before I moved to the Tulsa area in 2011. My goals and aspirations in law enforcement have taken me many places. You know, I've seen, visited with a lot of great people, a lot of great dignitaries, and just, you know, basically serving and protecting the people of the communities that I worked for. I think by being as a commander over a department, you know, Chief of Police over a department, it has been definitely rewarding just by the number of officers that I've got to work with, and I think now means more now just because I'm serving the people of my nation. I am a Creek citizen, and just merely being back home is definitely a plus.
What are some of the challenges, I think, that not a lot of people on the outside of law enforcement would see in becoming a chief of police, sort of having all of these officers looking to you?
Well, I think that the big challenge there is your credibility and having the respect of your officers. You know, showing them that you work for them. You know, they don't. How I see it, my officers don't work for me. I work for them. You know, in a lot of times you see in a pyramid structure where you have the top down. I don't believe in that structure. I believe it being inverted to where the officers that are at top are the ones that are leading us. Us as command staff are just leading them forward. So it's just merely, you know, having the credibility that you earn, the respect that you earn from your officers, and them just seeing that you are all about them.
Yeah, Chief Hawkins, you know, we're living in tough times as far as what law enforcement means, what it's doing out there, how the people are responding to law enforcement. And we're seeing a lot of things crop up where there is violence against police. There are troubling police-citizen relations in some areas. What have you told your officers, or have you all had discussions about the times that we are in, and maybe do you change the way that things happen, or have you had those discussions?
Well, you know, in light of everything that's been going on, you know, the officer-involved shootings and the active shooter situations in, you know, these other areas throughout the country, when, you know, we have met on several occasions on it. And one thing that I tell my officers is that you have to be vigilant. You have to pay attention to what's going on around you at all times. I mean, for, you know, using an example of the deputy that was ambushed down in Harris County, Texas, you know, back about a year ago, just merely pumping gas in his vehicle. So, you know, we have to be vigilant. We have to pay attention to what's going on around. and just keeping an eye on each other, having each other's back, knowing where everybody is at any given time. We don't change nothing other than being more alert and more aware of what's around us. We're going to enforce the law. We're going to protect our citizens and property, the same as what we've been doing for quite some time. I don't feel that and I can speak for my officers. I don't feel like we have to change anything. We are going to keep proceeding forward and doing our jobs, being being that agency that is out there protecting not only our citizens within the Creek Nation, but the citizens of the communities that are within our tribal boundaries.
And it's certainly, a tough job, going out and putting your life on the line really every time you're out on patrol for our Lighthorse police. But there are instances too where you have to use deadly force, or the officers feel it's warranted to use deadly force. In those cases, Creek Nation, much like other law enforcement agencies, are you confident in our structure when that does happen, what takes place, and could you share with us sort of what takes place there?
We are, well, I don't want to say we are prepared. You're never prepared for a shooting incident. You just hate to see that happen. Using deadly force is an absolute last resort. We use the necessary force to stop a threat. Unfortunately, in cases it does resort to deadly force. If we do have an incident like that, we have resources that we're going to reach out to that will bring in some kind of counseling help for the officer involved, and as well as any other officer that may be at the scene when this is happening. And it has occurred a couple times, but basically it's we support our officer. We do the necessary means to provide him the assistance, the counseling, or what it may be for him, and just making sure that he's ready to get back on the street, when that time comes. But just full support of him, and like I said, just you don't want to see a shooting incident happen, but if it does, then we deal with it and then we move forward.
A lot of things have come up too, as far as jurisdiction, and are our tribes equipped to not only go out and see, identify, and fight crime, but also come in and be able to prosecute in our courts and have our jail systems. We've seen that come into question, really. Are our tribes able to, effectively have jurisdiction over some of these things that happen to non-Indians in Indian country? But my question to you would also be, even in our own city here, we've had our sheriff's department and question the memorandum of understanding between them and us as Lighthorse police. Have you seen some areas where that can be fixed, maybe some fences mended there? And what have you all done? Have you had any contact with the sheriff's department?
Well, as a matter of fact, we have. A couple days ago, we actually met in the district attorney's office with our attorney general, with the district attorney, and then with the sheriff and his undersheriff. We are making progress. We have had, we've had bumps in the road through this process, just on the understanding of what we can do and what we can't. And of course, jurisdiction falls into play when you're dealing with non-Indians in Indian country, and with a cross-deputization that we are looking in the near future to put in place. It will enable us to, as both agencies, be able to enforce the laws when it comes to jurisdictional issues, whether we have to take actions into our hands on a non-Indian off of tribal property, as well as them assisting us or having to handle something when it comes to dealing with Indian country also.
You looking at what Lighthorse is doing here in the last few years, there have been some new things that have happened. There's K-9 units, there's task force that they're a part of. Also the Lighthorse Explorers program, getting the youth involved. I know you're probably excited about that. Anything to look for in the future? Some things you're excited on that you guys are working on rolling out?
You know, we are really doing well with our special units. My K-9 unit, I can speak real highly of. We are, I know in the past, we have kind of lacked, being able to utilize our K-9 unit the way that we would like to. Now, we are being asked by schools, the colleges, and in fact, some areas outside of our tribal jurisdiction, we've been asked to come in and utilize our dogs on drug sweeps in the schools and that. So that's definitely a plus. My great K-9 unit, my dive team, we utilize when we have to, and we don't just, it's not just for specific areas. I mean, we'll go wherever they need us. I know that they had an incident down in Stevens County, down southwest Oklahoma, that I had received a phone call that if they needed additional assistance, would we be willing to come down and assist? Which, of course, we were willing to do that. We just, if they needed us, all they had to do was let us know, and we'd be on the road headed down. We are starting our tactical unit back in place for such as for active shooter incidents or subject holdup incidents, hostage situations, and we will be having our tactical team in place. We're going to start training with that, just make sure that all of our policies and procedures are in place, and so we're looking forward to getting that going and really getting active with that. Our explorers, of course, I mean, they are, what can I say, great group of kids. They're going to be great leaders one day. Those are the ones that we will follow. So we have a lot of things in line in order coming up in the future, and we're just going to keep moving forward with it.
On the subject of restructuring, coming in and looking at what you have, do you have any specific instances that you have restructured or anything that you've done so far?
And what we've done whenever we had the change of administration in January, came in and of course set in a new, I have a new deputy chief, which is Daniel Wind. Definitely my right-hand man. He's excellent to work with. He is definitely an asset to the department, and we don't miss a stride. If I'm gone, everything just flows into place. We have put officers into supervisory spots, sergeants, corporals, those that we feel are definitely a benefit to that to running a shift. We're putting the best people in that we feel is going to move our department forward. Something that we are working on, and we're hoping to get that in place by the end of the month. We have a proposition that is going to go before the committees in the National Council this month in reference to River Spirit Margaritaville. And what we are doing is we will be placing or hiring a complete staff up there to man that. Basically, it will be our northern division. We'll be bringing in 12 more officers and fully equipped with everything they need to protect the patrons that will be coming in up there, because as y'all know, the number of people have drastically increased up there, and so the crime also is on the increase. So we want to be able to have the manpower up there that's going to protect that to the best of our ability, and as well as we just want them to feel safe and know that our presence is there and that they're well protected.
Talking about working with other counties, with other agencies, do you just sort of have an idea of how many you're working with currently?
We have been building relationships with these counties and municipal jurisdictions. We've in the past, we've kind of had some issues, and whatever those may be. But we have worked on relationships with these agencies, and roughly we have I would say probably 15 cross-deputizations, agreements with counties and municipal agencies.
Is there anything else that you would like to add regarding, just citizens out there, what they need to know about Robert Hawkins and about the Lighthorse Police Department under your leadership?
Well, as for my department, it's good that we are a proactive department. We are, our goal and my goal as the chief of the department is to provide the best protection for our citizens, for our property of the nation. And like I said, not just that, but as well as the folks that we serve in these communities. We're going to provide our officers with the best equipment and whatever else we may need for them to better themselves and to better protect, our citizens. Something that we're going to be doing is actually putting in in the paper a crime report of everything that we do the month prior. And this way it shows what our productivity is, what we're doing out there and what we're getting off the street. And I think by being transparent with our citizens, they will have a better understanding of what we do, not just what we're perceived as. Like I said earlier, earning, as a department, earning the people's respect back, earning that back is huge. Being able to get out and be proactive and get out in your, community meetings, stopping and visiting with your citizens, helping them. You see something that they, just roll up on and they're merely taking groceries into the house. You stop, go up and help them. Just whatever it takes. And I want our citizens to see that that's what we're about. We're not just a security force. We are a full-fledged police department that has full police powers, just like any municipal, county, or state agency. So it's important that they understand that we're there for them, and that whatever they need, we are going to do whatever we need to do to assist and help.
Well, Chief Hawkins, we certainly thank you for your time today. We know that you're a busy man, but thank you for coming in with us and speaking with us on behalf of yourself, your department, to the citizens of the Mvskoke Nation.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the invite, and I hope to be speaking again soon.
Great. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Our thanks once again to our guest today, their Lighthorse Police Chief Robert Hawkins, for coming in, doing a great job and working with us in the paper as well. Judge Patrick Moore, the longest tenured district court judge in Mvskoke Creek Nation history, also the only judge to be sitting on the bench when an impeachment process reached the courts. So a great resource to have for this week's episode. Again, check us out on MvskokeMedia.com to follow all of these stories that keep developing here at Mvskoke Creek Nation.